Which is the best tank for Temporal Vortex? Let's find out. Hello guys, WilsonBox here. I hope that everyone is doing well, and today we are here to talk about Temporal Vortex and tanks and which are the best tanks to use on Temporal Vortex. So before everything, let's talk about those tanks. So I made a list, okay, and I did some tests, and these tests were 1v1 basically, the hero against the Vortex, and what I was looking for on each tank is to have some self-sustain, and when I say self-sustain, I mean if they have more abilities that can help all our teams. Not just taking damage from the boss, but also giving some shield, healing, or even applying some attack penalty. So this was the list I did, this is the timings. I took Ardred. She can live for a long time against Vortex on a 1v1, and basically this was the ranking according with how long they survive. Of course, this is not the best ones, it's just ranking according with the times. I'm not saying this is the best ones, I will talk about that ahead, but Ardred, she survived 6 minutes 30, and she is able to give some healing and stats, and also dispel some debuffs to all the team, okay? So I'm not gonna talk about this list for now, just gonna talk about of each hero and why I pick them. So since we are here on the fire element, we're gonna start with the fire element. So from the fire element we have Isolde and Krizus, as you can see here. Krizus, he survived 3 minutes and 10. You can see the defense and accuracy as well, because he can apply attack penalty. The HP, the gear that I used the HP because he gets more shields with more HP percentage, that's why, and also Isolde, same thing, she is able to apply a shield and defense penalty. So let's just have a quick look to Krizus. So Krizus doesn't apply an aura in Vortex, but he can dispel enemy shields, this is not important, but he can inflict attack penalty too, and also grant a 25% target max HP shield. So if I have more HP, the shield will be bigger. Then here he grants a shield as well, he does some damage, and he grants a shield to the ally with the lowest current HP. And passive, when the hero's shield is depleted or dispelled or vanishes, 50% of the shield are consumed or vanishes will be converted into healing. Okay, so this is a really good one if you have him to use on Vortex, and if you are playing with a fire necrotic team, this is like the best tank that you can use. Then we have Isolde. Isolde is really good as well. I did some tests and she didn't survive that much, basically because she's just a lower version of the fire legendary character. She also can apply attack penalty, but the shield that can she apply, it's 14%, is not so big. The other character is 25, and on the passive she can apply defense sub to allies within range. She deals some fire damage as well. Passive, she granted a shield granted by the hero reduced allies damage taken by 15%, and she has a defense aura of 24%. So she's not that bad if you don't have the other character and you want to play a fire necrotic team against Vortex. She's a really good pick as well. Let's get our list again. And according with our list, Isolde was the one that survived less time by herself, and Krizus, he survived 3 minutes and 10 seconds, the same time as Frubert. So next, from the ice element, we have Aurion. Okay, Aurion is here, it's a legendary character as well, and if you want to pick ice hero, this is the one to go. Of course, if you are playing with ice, it means you can also play with radiance, so we'll have better options with the Radiance element. So basically he grants ally protection to all allies, and then he gains a shield and damage reduction. On his battle skill he can apply some attack penalty and do some damage, and passive, when he taking fatal damage on the battle for the first time, he will survive and get all these buffs, control immunity, invincibility, and 2 stacks of recovery over time. He's the best pick as a tank for the ice element, but of course, since we are playing with ice radiance, you have better options with ice radiance. Of course, he survived a little bit more than the Isolde, 1 minute 41. And from the ice, that's the only one I want to talk about. From the Cortic, I don't want to talk about anyone, because for what I've seen of all of these characters, I still tried Quasitia, as you can see. She's on here, but the only problem is she doesn't provide anything for the team. She can apply attack penalty and take some damage, but that's it. She doesn't give any shields or healing or any buff to our team. That's what I'm looking for, because I want my team to survive the longest as possible. If they can give more healing and shields, and that way I can skip one of the roles like a healer and trade that healer for some more damage, that's my goal. Then I'm going to skip to lightning. Lightning, same thing. There's no one here with those abilities. Voltog is not that bad. Voltog is good, but he, again, it's same thing as Quasitia. He can apply defense penalty and take damage, and basically an accuracy penalty as well, and basically that's it, but it doesn't give some more survivability to our team. So next one will be only a fire, poison and necro Quasitia. So next one will be poison, of course you are expecting this one, and will be Frubart. Okay, Frubart, it's different. Frubart, it's what we are looking for. Okay, is one of the best ones for Vortex because he can do several things just by himself. He can apply attack penalty, do some damage, he can heal himself and all the allies, and he can dispel some debuffs sometimes, and he can't use this defense aura because it's only in dungeon battles. So this is one of the best characters if you are playing with Poison Lightning team. This is the one to go. So I did 2 tests with him regarding his gear, so 2 minutes 48. I used the crown on both, and the difference here is that I use defense HP, so 1 chest of defense and another one with HP. He survived 2 minutes 48, and then 3 minutes and 10 with chest and ends both defense. He has less HP, as you can see guys, 60k, but the difference here is that since he has more defense percentage, he's going to heal more as well, because this healing is based on his defense percentage. So next ones will be all Radiance, okay, and I'm gonna start from the bottom. So from the bottom I tried Dane, okay. Dane survived, he did better than his old, he survived 1 minute and 8 seconds, and his ability, ally protection to the ally for 10 seconds and grants damage reduction to this ally and nearby ally, so he can give some damage reduction to all the allies. He's able to reduce some damage basically. He can't apply defense aura on Vortex, but if you don't have anyone else, he's option. Okay, so next one, going up here we have Dueling. Dueling is like an upgrade from Dane, because he can do something like him. He grants ally protection to allies within range, so he absorbs some of the damage taken by the target, and he gains defense up and recovery over time. He also can apply attack penalty with his battle skill, and with his passive he takes 1% less damage for every 3% HP lost, and his aura is not applicable on Vortex. Let's check here again this file. So Dueling is here, he did more 22 seconds than Dane, as you can see, and 11 seconds less than Urine. I used HP percentage on both chest and hand, and that was it. This was just 1v1 battles. Of course I did some more battles with DPS and healing and everything else. That's what I'm gonna show ahead. Next one, of course, will be Garrus. Okay, we have more tanks here. We have Clovis, we have Cameri, but these ones, they apply attack penalty, but they don't give any survivability to our team. That's what I'm looking for. So Garrus is one of the best ones that you can use. You can dispel all debuffs from him and heal all the allies by 600 defense percentage, which is a lot. It basically heals everyone full HP every time, and he deals some damage, he grants him recovery. He has these stacks of defense up for him, so 20 stacks for him, he gets more 40, I think, 40% of defense, and he can apply a defense percentage aura to everyone. So as you guys can see here, I did 2 runs with different gear. Okay, this one was with HP, he survived 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and then I did another one with defense percentage on chest and hands, and he survived 5 minutes and 10 seconds. So he is one of the best ones that you can use, and next ones will be legendaries. So next one we can talk about Ardred. Okay, Ardred is the new one, I already talked about her in a previous video, but I want to say she's really good. She's one of the best ones. I think she can be even better than Garrus. I'll show you all the tests I did and you'll see the results. So basically she can enhance the allies healing of everyone. She can do some damage based on defense percentage, and she can enhance each of hero's basic attacks, grants the ally with lowest HP with healing, and there's 100% chance of dispelling one debuff from them, which is great. And this is 16 seconds ultimate. Then battle skill, it's 10 seconds, okay, and initial recharge 5 seconds, shields the ally with the lowest percentage of HP, grants defense up to, and with this skill is cast on a target below 15% HP, healing will be increased by 13% and reduce the recharging time for the target's next battle skill by 15%, so she can increase the damage of our allies as well. And passive, it's really good as well. She gets these stacks, and when she reaches the 10 stacks, she can share these stacks with every allies. So basically she's going to give more 30% defense and resistance to all our allies, okay? And then we also have this aura with 30% defense, so it's 30% defense from here and more 30% defense from this blessing, which is a lot. Then we have this healing, this reducing of recharge time of the battle skill, and this increase of the healing and dispelling debuffs. So she has a lot of tools that can use. His kit is really complete. I think she has a better kit than Garius, because Garius can only take damage. He has the defense aura and heal everyone, but that's it. She doesn't heal everyone at the same time, but she keeps healing everyone, reducing the battle skill. She gives more defense percentage to everyone, so I think she will do, she's more complete than Garius. And last one, also really good, Acelia. Acelia is also one of my top choices, okay? This aura is not the best one, but she can dispel all debuffs. She's like an upgrade from Catherine, but a tank. So she can apply defense immunity and then heals all the allies by a lot if you use enlightenment. Then she, with the battle skill again, she's going to heal them again each 10 seconds and 20 seconds from here, and passive, each time she dispels a buff or is resisted, she gains 1 stack of Oathkeeper's Glory. This stacks, it goes until 30% more healing, and basically this is it. Okay, this was the characters I tested. As you can see, Acelia, Garius and Ardred, those were the ones that survived longer, okay? And Acelia, I used HP on both. So now that I showed you the heroes that I'm talking about and the ones that I tested, let's see what tests I did and what results I got. Now here we have all the results and all the tests I did. As you can see guys, I did a lot of them. There are some that I didn't record it because I just tried several more times just to make sure the results were okay. And we can start talking about Ardred, okay? I did several tests with her. The first one I did was Ardred. I tried to use always the same gear on everyone, so Gertin, Bladin, Gulal, and Sadik. I used always the same gear on them. I just swapped between characters, but I was trying to use always the same gear, same gems, always. And in this match was pretty simple. I just used Ardred and more 3 damage characters, and then I used Gulal for the attack penalty, and they survived a lot just because of Ardred. She kept fighting by herself for a long time, 6 minutes 30 seconds, as the ranking I showed at the beginning. She survived the same time, 1v1 against VORTEX, but everyone else didn't survive that much, and the result was around 13.6 million damage, and which is a bit low, but this is regarding the gear. The team I'm using is not the best one, but I'm just looking for a comparison between every tank. Then I did another test. This time I swapped Sadik with Catherine, so this way I have some debuff immunity, which is really important on this boss because he's going to apply this defense penalty, and then everyone takes more damage and eventually they will die faster. So on this fight it went really much better. They survived less time, 5 minutes, but the damage increased by more than 2 million. So around 15 million point 9. As you can see, Gertin, she did more damage. She did 9.2 million damage. That's because also Ardred is boosting his damage. Guys, on this file, as you can see, I have the timings as well. So this is the initial timing, as you can see, but then I set the sickle, the ultimate skill time, to be 20 seconds. So they're gonna repeat this timing every cycle. So this was the result from this run. and then I did another one, but I did the change on the timings, so I set the timing of 14 for Ardred, and it went similar to the run before. The Ardred survived a little bit more this time, but the damage was kinda similar. They did 16 million damage, just a little bit more, but the timing, having a timing on Ardred does make a much difference. The big difference comes when I changed the ultimate. So I did 2 more runs, and this time I used the Incense Burner. Instead of using Scarab, I used the Incense Burner, and the results increased a lot. So with the same teams I was using before, exactly the same teams, same timings, I did 19.9 million damage. It was a big increase of damage, and I was really happy with this, 19.9 million damage. Then I did another run, but this time without any timing on Garten and Bledin, just to see if the damage was increased or not, but the damage was a bit lower, 900,000 damage lower, and with this I noticed the damage was not increasing, also because these timings are set to start doing damage after Gulal attacks, and Gulal has the crown, and with this I have the chance to apply defense penalty, and after applying the defense penalty my DPS is going to do some damage, and that damage will be increased with the defense penalty. Without the timings they will start using their ultimates outside when the boss doesn't have the defense penalty applied, and this way they were not going to do so much damage with their ultimate. And this was the tests I did with Ardred, and I was really happy with this one with 19.9 million damage. Then we have Garius. I did some tests with Garius as well, so I have 4 battles, and as you can see the results are good, but I did better with Ardred, as you can see. So with Garius I did the first run with Catherine, and the damage was 18.3 million damage. Usually this is the lineup that I use in my main server, and these tests I did on the test server, and I used exactly the same teams, exactly the same gear on every run that I did, and the timings are the same as well. And on this one I had Catherine and I had Garius to use the healing after the 22 seconds, because my aim here is to have Catherine healing everyone. The boss does those 2 skills, does some damage, and then Garius is going to heal them back. And some people, they were questioning about Garius, that he can do his job, he can do a healing and tanking job by himself, but that's not really true. In some content, and especially at the beginning, he's a good boost, he's a great boost that can boost your game and push you to higher stages of every content, but when you reach this higher content you need more support. So I did the exactly same thing without a healer, and the damage was 12.1, was lower than the one I did with Ardred without healer. He did 12.1 because he doesn't have ability to debuff anyone from his team, it doesn't boost his damage. Ardred gives a more defense percentage, and more defense percentage with the passive, so it was 12 million. So I did another run, but this time Garius with Ardred, and the damage was 17.9, so still with Catherine was better. I think it was because of the defense, the debuff immunity. Catherine gives the debuff immunity, and with this they take less damage, and was not that bad. I was expecting more with Ardred. I need another run just because with Catherine and Ardred, just to see if it makes the damage to go higher. But I was not using any attack penalty here, no defense penalty, so because of that I have not done so much damage, and I even survived less time than the run before with Ardred, but I survived more time than with Catherine. But the damage was 17.6 million, and that was it. Then we have Acelia. So Acelia was better than I thought. Acelia was really good. I was not expecting this. I didn't test her before, and I was really happy with these results. So the first run I did 14 million damage. She was using the Scarab. The Scarab artifact, and I was not using healer here just because she's already a tank healer like Garius, but she has the ability to debuff, to give debuff immunity and dispel debuffs. So I set the timing to 14, and we did 14 million damage, but we just survived 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Think because she was not healing that much, like the Scarab was not helping that much with the damage. So the next run I did with Ardret and Acelia, and I increased the damage by 3 million. I did 17.4 million damage. I survived 5.30 seconds, was much better, and Ardret, since she can boost the healing, she was boosting Acelia healing and giving more time to my allies to stay alive and do more damage. But then I did the same thing I did with Ardret, and I changed the artifact to the Mirror of the Living, because Acelia is basically a healer and also a tank, but is more a healer, and with the Mirror of the Living she was able to heal everyone, and I did 20 million point 3 damage. So Gertin did 13 million, I survived 5 minutes and 40 seconds, and I mean, I don't know what did happen, but my team was crazy. They did 20 million, I had Katarina as well, I had a lot of healing and the HP aura from Bledin, so it was a really good result, 20 million damage, and I was really happy. I was not expecting this much damage, probably because the defense penalty was more applied more often, I don't know, but the results were really good. And then I did just one run for the other 3. Dueling, the result was 10.7 million damage, he survived 3.30 with Katarine. These 3 runs I did with Katarine, Gertin, Bledin and Gulal, so I had a bit of everything, but the damage reduction from Dueling is not enough to keep all the allies alive. Then I did the same team but with Orion, and they survived even less time. So the time of the run was 3 minutes and 50 seconds, but that's just because Orion was still alive for a long time, but all the other allies, they died pretty soon. Same thing with Dan, he did 10.4 million damage, and is the same story. They didn't survive that much time, because Dan is not providing that much support or that much utility to our team. Okay, this is with the Radiance team and Ice. Then I did some tests with Poison, same thing, I used Frubart, and I was expecting better from Frubart, but again, this is not the exactly same team. I can't use Gertin and Blady, because it's not the same element, I'll do less damage. By the way, all these tests were done just with elemental damage, I didn't add the last bit of the affinity, so it's just with elemental damage, just to be fair with every element. So Frubart, I did this run with Yagnat, Nimbus, Shelter and Nathaniel. Nathaniel is providing some shields and also dispelling some debuffs, and Frubart is able to give some healing to all the team. Nathaniel can do that as well, and I had some damage. I didn't use the Investor because I think for these characters, since they are more based on attack speed and basic attacks, I used the Gambler, and the damage was not that great. I survived 4 minutes and 40 seconds, and the damage was 13 million. Then same thing, I used Frubart again, but this time I used Exandra and switched with Yagnats, just to see if I can survive a bit more and do more damage. So the result is I survived the more time, that's true, but I did less damage because I didn't have Yagnats doing those 3 million damage, and Exandra was keeping everyone alive but not increasing my damage. Then I used Garrett, just to see the difference. Garrett doesn't provide any shield or anything, he can provide attack penalty, and basically that's it, that's all he can provide. And I set the same timings as I was doing with Radiance Ice, and 8 million damage, that was how much damage I did. Nimbus and Shelter were doing really well. I had to use Exandra because I didn't have any healing, but I did less damage, I didn't have attack penalty, so my team survived less time as well. I didn't have Frubart doing his healing, so my team survived less time. So this is not a good comparison with the Radiance Ice element, just because I'm using like Exandra, it's a rare hero, I'm using Yagnats, but it's just to see how long our tanks can deal with this boss and help our teams as well. Then I used Chrysos, and I was really surprised with the result from Chrysos. Of course, in here I used different characters. They were doing, as you can see, 4 minutes here with Garrett and 4 minutes here with Chrysos, but Tonalman and Erich were doing an increased amount of damage, 15 million, okay. So if I had these guys like here with Frubart, probably I will do more than 15 million if I had the same guys doing this same amount of damage during the same time. So 4 minutes and 20 seconds, probably here I survived more time, I'll do like 16 or 70 millions with Fubart. But fire team, they have a good damage. I had Tonoman, Erich, Alfie and Adolphus. We don't have great healers with Necrotic and fire teams, but Krizus can provide a big shield, and with Adolphus using that passive to provide some healing helps a lot. That's the only way. And this was really good. I was not expecting Krizus to be this good, but his shields are really big. He has attack penalty, he can give a bit of healing as well. Then Adolphus helping, and we had a lot of damage and was really good. Then Isolde is a good option if you want to go with this team. She did, the result was 10.5 million damage. I used exactly the same theme, but Isolde's shield is not so big as Krizus. So the result was 10.5 million damage, was not too bad, not too good. It was the result I got. So with this, you guys can see the big results we got. So Garrus, 18.3 million damage. He was the second surviving more against Vortex on 1v1. Then Adret, 19.9 million damage. She was the one surviving more time against Vortex. And then Acelia, 20.3, the best damage, and she was the third surviving against Vortex. So guys, of course this was not the best comparisons regarding the fire, necrotic and lightning poison teams, because I was not using the same damage, same gear, but you can have an idea how good the tanks are. So of course I'm gonna say Acelia with the right team. I think she's the best one because she can dispel those debuffs. If you have another healer, then she's gonna increase his healing. If you have another healer, then you have two healers and one guy that is able to tank. She does a lot of healing, she can dispel those debuffs, but we already have Catherine for that. And Ardred, she's really good as well. His kit is really complete, really big. She can heal, she can increase the healing from the other carriers. As you can see, she did 19.9 million damage with Catherine because she can boost the other healers. She can reduce the battle skills and increase the damage. And then we have Garrus. Garrus already everyone knows. He heals everyone and he's a big tank, but that's it. I think Acelia and Ardred are much more complete because Acelia can dispel debuffs and increase the healing, and Ardred, she can boost damage, boost defense, boost the healing, and Garrus is just about healing and tanking. So I think those are the top three. Acelia, Garrus and Ardred, those are the top three and the strongest characters. Of course, if you don't have them, because I mean I'm talking about two legendaries and one epic that you need to be lucky to summon it, then from the other teams you also have Frobart, Krizus, Aerion, Dueling, Dane, Isolde. Are not the best ones, but they do a good job as well. Of course, you always need a good team for this to work. Okay, it's not just about these heroes, you need also a good healer. You need someone with debuff immunity, because this boss, if he applies the defense penalty, your allies are going to take much more damage, they're gonna die faster, and it doesn't matter if your tank is really strong, because if your DPS dies, you are not going to do any damage. And basically that's it. So Acelia, Ardred and Garrus, those are the best ones, those are the ones that I think they are doing the better job on Temporal Vortex. If you have them, of course use them, boost your team, give them the best gear and use them the best way you can. I think they are really great. And if you are using them on Vortex and with the best CPS and the best healers giving some debuff immunity, I think you're gonna reach a really big amount of damage. So now I'm on my server and this was the result from today, guys. I did 30 million damage. I increased my damage because I was using Ardred. I was using Garrus before and I'm using exactly the same team, guys. Exactly the same team I was showing you guys on the test server. Gertin, Blendin, Gertin, Gulal and Catherine and then Ardred. Okay, this is the team I'm using now, and with Ardred I did more damage. I did I think 25 million, let's have a look. Guys, yesterday I did 23 million, 23 million, but I was doing around 25 with Garrus. And with Ardred I increased my damage to 30 million, so she is the real deal. I already did a video talking about her, that's why, because I was really surprised with all the Ardred results I got. Okay guys, so I hope you guys like this video, I hope these tests and all of these helps you guys to make some decisions and use the best characters that you have. If you have any comments, any feedback, any tests that you want to see, just leave those comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to press that like button, subscribe to my channel, it helps a lot to grow my channel and bring more content like this. Thanks for watching and see you next time.